What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Denver Beer and Oil. I got the Pathfinder going, so it's definitely time to start working on some of my other projects. This is my M60 B44 swap E30. It's a 6-speed, it's got a 293 rear end, and a myriad of issues. So that's what we're going to dive into today. If you guys remember some past videos over that way, there is a pretty hefty coolant leak coming from the back of the engine. So the goal is, like the last video, literally the last one on this car, we're going to pull the trans, pull the exhaust, pull the clutch this time, we didn't do that, and see where the leak's coming from. From there, I'm going to have to come up with a plan on fixing that leak. Depending on what the leak is and where it's coming from, I can do it tonight. If not, I'm probably going to jump into some other things or just button it up and call it a day and try and orchestrate what needs to happen. So I guess without further ado, I'm going to tear this thing apart. I got this thing in here. I didn't drive it in, and it cranked forever, never started. It started once when it was in here, and I think the reason behind that, Chris brought up, it's low on fuel. Hi. So, coming under here, there's quite a few things. I feel I'd just do like a recap of what this car has and things that I hope to change coming up. So, starting at the front, just a regular old E30 6 radiator. This thing does a fairly decent job. I've got some fan issues and some coolant issues, so I can't give my full overview on it. I've got the Garagistic Low Pro engine mounts. I'm using M60 engine mounts, so Garagistic engine arms. I've spaced it with header washers, or head bolt washers, to clear the pan. The pan is notched about 25 millimeters, and it sits just barely above the subframe. I'm pretty sure it hits, but not bad enough for me to notice yet. Let's see, it's got power steering on an E46 M3 progressive steering rack. I had to do a custom hydraulic line there, and then I'm using an E39 power steering return line that I actually have a new one because you can see it's sweating quite a bit, just generally leaking everywhere. For using the oiling in the remote reservoir, you see up here I've got an X5 oil majigger. That one, it doesn't, so you don't need to cut your arm for your car. You can just use that instead of modifying your engine arm for your M60, and then you can just use the Garagistic arm separate of it. It just makes it easier, a bit cleaner of a swap. Going back, I've got what we believe to be like a Racing Dynamics adjustable sway bar. Kind of came on the car, so not entirely sure. We've got offset bushings. Further back, this is a Getrag 420G. It's on stock. All of these mounts are stock, and it's not too vibraty, it's not too bad. Oh, as far as headers back here, what I'm running for headers is X5 headers on the driver and passenger. They're modified, of course, and then I'm running a Sicky steering shaft down there. So, back to the transmission. I've got a modified transmission brace that I welded myself. Does not look great. Exhaust back here goes into X-pipe, dual resonators, and then out into a single muffler. On the rear, got that 293 rear differential. Got just some Bilsteins. They're on H&Rs, not sure if they're sport or race. We're thinking sport because they're fairly soft. And then the Racing Dynamics rear adjustable sway bar as well. All the bushings, I was fortunate enough this car came pretty much gone through. It's got, you know, stainless brake lines where it needs them, and everything's kind of taken care of. So not too bad, but my exhaust is mounted up there, so I got to take that nut off, that bolt there, and then it's just the two at the header. I use these flex flanges instead of like a flex pipe or something, and they're great, but they've developed an exhaust leak. So over there I've got more gaskets to go in there, and it should be good. So gonna do away with all this stuff, all the nasty wiring and whatnot, and get this thing done. Okay, long time no see. You'll also notice that the back of the engine is clean. My dumbass cleaned it before showing you guys. So to sum up what we saw, Garrett's here helping out. Dirt drop garage. So we saw the rear main. Also, my pilot bearing is loose in there. You see that? I can just pull it out.
That's not good.
So the rear main was just kind of like water falling. It's dirty up here. I don't think there's a coolant line or an oil line that we could have hit in that bolt. So I'm fairly certain that it's just from the rear main spinning and just literally coating everything here. Unfortunately, it didn't look like this plate was leaking, which is what I thought and why the whole trans had to come off. What looked like was leaking was that hose up there that you'll recognize from the last video where I took it off and was like, oh, there's nothing that should be leaking, it's fine. So we got a pressure tester. We're gonna hook it up, see if it works, but for now I'm just gonna pull off this hose and blow on it and see if there's anything. I could hear air escaping from here, and when I moved it, it made more escaping noises, so. All right, we'll be back. Okay, so Garrett over there helped me out. The pressure tester did not fit the expansion tank, so we had to get creative. We were suspecting that coolant hose, so we popped it off. I blew on the end, capped the other end, and wouldn't you know, it was the coolant hose. So it doesn't seem like a lot, and we were certainly like skeptical on whether or not it was the issue, but after looking at the video where it happened, just that little hole, let's see, just that little guy right there was enough for it to it was like it's basically a catastrophic leak. So this hose is kind of a temporary hose with the expansion tank setup that I've got right now. I'm gonna go to John's soon enough, drop this car off and have them make brackets for everything. I've mentioned that maybe 60 times now. So honestly, had I done that sooner, this would never even be a thing and the car would still be on the road. But hindsight's 20/20. So we've got a hose bin over there and I'm gonna go see if we can jerry rig something up. But of all things, not the worst. But it was some good exercise taking a transmission off for no reason. Stripping a clutch bolt on the way out, had to grind it and whatnot, but chasing the hose. So yeah, let's go chase some more hose. All right, so I left that one in the dark a little bit and it was getting late, so I kind of just went home. We got most of this thing together, so transmission's all back in, you know, cross member, all that stuff. I did end up finding a solution for the expansion tank and line and whatnot, but I've got to it's another day, it's another work day, so I've got to get this car off the lift. So I'm just going to throw the exhaust on, drive it out, get the E32 in. This exhaust is really easy to put up with just one person as well, which makes it nice. There's this stud back here, the hanger hangs on it, and then it's all just lining it up. I've got this one that I put in last, and it's good to go. And I checked the fitment of the exhaust gaskets and that works great, so hopefully I won't have any exhaust leaks anymore and you guys will be able to hear some really good exhaust sounds. So yeah, gonna put this back together and I'll see you guys soon. What's up, guys? Kind of came out here to film finishing the car and whatnot. As you can see, made it all the way out here, no problem. I have a lot of content in here that I'd really like to film on this car, so stay tuned for that. I'm gonna do some like reaction videos, dyno, finally see what this thing makes, just a lot of stuff on that. But I came out here to film my car. It turns out there's like a little bit of a meat stuff going on. Got an S2K, this is PJ, this is his Ferrari, and a nice little E46 over there. So really cool. This is kind of where everybody comes to take photos. Just a good spot. So I've got E30 late model expansion tank sitting in the battery tray now. Goes all through down here, back to the coolant crossover. You can see this is kind of like a bird's nest in there. I'm not sure how much better I can get that, but it all works together, fits in nicely with the E36 M3 radiator. The only thing really left to finish is I need to get a good fuse box cover. I need to properly mount and figure out a solution for these guys. There's 3-to-1s that I might do, and that would just kind of keep it a little bit cleaner. But yeah, not too bad. The car was running really poorly when I got it into the shop. The reason being is this zip tie was on the inside of the U. Here, we're going more. This zip tie was on the inside of this U, and it had this engine harness clunk pulled up. But on the engine harness clunk, on the underside of it, is the injector clips, and I remember those broke when I was building the car. So I just had to pull out the zip tie, get a nut for this, push it in, and then tighten it down. And now there's no misfire, it starts just fine and runs great. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully there's a lot more content to come with this. I want to do some more reaction videos now that it's a slight bit more put together. We're going to go drifting on December 3rd, so stay tuned for that video. I'm going to take this along. It's not the greatest drifter in the world, but it'll be a heck of a lot of fun. I forgot that I had bought this coolant hose. This is a swap hose. I'll throw the part number up in the video right now. And it's just the correct length and everything, and outlet size for the radiator and for the water pump on the M60. So I got this. I think I cut it down slightly on this side, and now it fits great, doesn't really kink, feels good, and yeah, beforehand I had a really bad hose. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm really stoked that I got this all together, and like Chris did, I'm gonna do a build breakdown on it too. So either way, thanks for watching everybody. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Cheers.